This is Dave McCain with the Right True Genealogy, and I'm doing another video on MyHeritage. This one's on their labeling process, what you can actually do in their system. It's very similar to what you can do on Ancestry, and that is create custom groups, but they call it labels. So I've got the MyHeritage screen up, or at least a clip of that screen, and you go into your DNA when you log in, and you go under DNA matches. Now under your DNA matches, you're going to see, like in this case, I have 20,000 DNA matches. We want to go into the filter. Once we go into the filter button, as you see, I zoomed in here so you can see the filter. Well, once you click it, you actually see a button over to the side called labels. Well, we want to go into labels because of what we can do in labels. Create dots that represent your family. When I click that create labels or click the label button, it says create new label. There are 30 dots, 30 color dots available on this page. These are the only 8 that I'm going to look at. This is the father's side, these 4 on this side, and the mother's side, these 4 on this side. And those are the first 8 across the middle. Well, the father's side represent these names, and the mother's side represent these names. That's 1 through 8. 1, 2 goes here, 3 goes here, 4 goes here, or the color that we select is related to the colors on the father's side, and the 5, 6, 7, and 8 are the 5, 6, 7, and 8 on the mother's side in these dots. First of all, we click the very first dot in the middle, and that's a kind of a bright red, and it's Worthington, and we hit save. Well, once we click on the label, we now have that selectable surname dot or label if we start looking at our matches. Well, let's do another one. McCain, the 2 common spellings of McCain that I look for in our family. I want to note here that that first dot disappeared. It's shifted over. So instead of that being that red one, it's now the orange one. And that's what happens. Whenever you select a dot, it disappears from your selection. So you're just going to go in order from the father's side to the mother's side, just like we laid out 1 through 8. We hit save. Once we hit save, again, you can see that name appear on our list of selectables to attach to individuals that are some of your shared matches. And I'm going to go ahead and show another one. Thanks, same thing. It's shifted another time, and now it's kind of the light orange is the third name on the selection. Now that's going to show you what you click it, you type it in, you hit save. Now that we've went through and I've created all 8 of those, I didn't show you all of them, but they've all been created based on that list I presented. Now we want to go in here and now we're back in that match list. Well, we're going to want to type into the lookup. In this case, we're going to look for Vaughn. So we want to look for those matches that have this particular spelling of Vaughn. Well, I type that in. The next thing I want to do is change the sort by to largest segment. The reason I want to change that to the largest segment is because we don't want false matches to show up, or should we say we want to show those that are most likely kin to us via this surname or one of our 8 great-grandparents' surnames, and at the highest level. So for instance, it says there's 76 Vaughns that show up in this search. I went ahead and clicked. Now there's a little button beside our matches. There's a little box. You click it, and then this pops up over to the side and say, hey, what do you want to label this? Well, we have our 8 labels set up here, and I say this is going to be the Vaughn. So I click that, and again it shows that I've selected 5. These are the high level matches. This person's longest segment is 36.4, and that's 5 different names that I've put this highlight on, or this click box, and selected Vaughn. And then I hit apply. When I hit apply, the next thing that happens, now you have that blue dot beside their name. So if you're looking at some matches, new matches that come in, and you see that they match to one of these people that have that blue dot, hey, you've got a possibility of determining it's got Vaughn in their line, or you can trace them back to the Vaughn line. In this case, I say Vaughn. It could be any name. I have 3 siblings on here. My father and 2 of his siblings are on this MyHeritage. So when you go and pick one of them as, let's look at that shared match and see the list of people they share with, well, that's why you see the 4 color blocks here on this one. This is one of the siblings. Well, the second one on that list is what we're going to focus on here. This is a first cousin once removed to second cousin. Since they're that high level of centimorgans, let's go into their tree and see if we can find which one of those 8 surnames that we've defined with the dots or the labels that matches this. We go into it, and the good news is there's 125 people in this tree. It's likely we can find at least one of the surnames that we've defined. So we click on their tree, and here we go, James McCain. Well, I know, based on my research and other DNA matching, James McCain is my great-grandfather. He would be definitely the line that I'm looking at. They have it in their particular tree. They have the wife or the spouse showing up with their husband's surname. I know for a fact in this block that her last name was Sanks. We can go back now to the match. We can click this block right beside her name, just like we did before when we were doing it by the match list. Well, this is one of the names that we saw in the shared matches table. We click it, we go and say, we know McCain is there, we know Sanks is there, and what we can do then is hit apply, and once we hit apply, we have those 2 dots attached to Deb in this case. Now, if we see a new match, same thing as I said before, and we see Deb show up as a match to them, it's likely due to one of these 2 names, which in this case it's McCain and Sanks. Now, I left a major elephant in the room. Those are just 8 of the dots. What about the other 22 dots? I only named 8 of them in this video. Well, let's take a quick overview. I'm not going to go into details of what you do with the other 22 dots, but I am going to show you what I have as the method going forward. We have those 30 dots again, 10, 10, and 10. This group up here will represent the great, great, great paternal line, and this would be the great, great, great maternal line. So the parents to your great-grandparents, this would be the father and this would be the mother. And if you notice, I've kind of got a sequence going here that it will still keep divided your mother's line from your father's line, and that's on purpose. The next thing is what about the other 6 at the end? Well, I suggest these be used for research. If you've got a line that you're trying to fill in, because most of us do not have all of our great-great-great-grandparents defined. So what you do is you use the purple and the dark blue grayish colors for your hypothesis. You're looking for a surname that may end up being one of these over here, but you use them for research names. That way you don't confuse your actual known information from your hypothesis research with these labels or these dots. I would suggest go back, if there's any confusion in this, go back and rewatch this and look at how I applied those dots, how you search them, look in their trees, and be able to attach based on triangulation and based on the trees. You can put the dots representing the surnames, and then when you see the matches, you can say, oh, this is my McCain line, or this is my Kennedy line, or whatever line it may be. You can take a look at those now that you have the dots applied. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing right here, watching one of these additional video playlists or videos, and give it a thumbs up. Let's continue learning together.